going to go through these four strands one by one and give you a chance to comment and think about each one of them. The first, sometimes called the learning of mystery, 玄学. Sometimes Neo-Taoism, sometimes Confucian Taoism or Taoistic Confucianism. And it's connected to another trend called pure conversation, 清谈. The premise of this movement is Taoistic, is that things develop, things should be allowed to develop on their own, according to their natural tendencies. One should not interfere. You can see this in the passage from Guo Xiang, who says, everything is spontaneous, everything happens of itself. It's not orchestrated. It's possible that originally the learning of mystery begins as a search for a new foundation for a unified political order, saying we can't find it in the legacy of Han institutions and models. We have to find something more real, perhaps in nature itself. And if we can find it, we can build on top of that. We can have a new beginning. In the end, however, politics didn't accord. And this movement turns away from trying to restore empire to something very different. We start to see them turning to justify nonconformity, that the idea of naturalness, spontaneity, goes together with not conforming to social and political norms. There are debates over conformity versus naturalness. And we have the appearance of sort of new model figures, something we haven't seen like this in Chinese society that eventually becomes terribly influential throughout East Asia. Xi Kang writes in his letter to Shantao, one who acts naturally is superior to people who try to get ahead by conforming to society's standards or the demands of government. Now, Xi Kang was one of the 7 sages of the Bamboo Grove, and that's what you see behind me. 7 men devoted to literary creativity, to song, to music, and to drink. And this painting, in fact, is not a Chinese painting at all, although it's done in the Chinese style. This painting comes from Edo, Japan. From Japan, probably sometime between the 17th and the early 19th century. Now, Xi Kang was one of these 7 very cultured gentlemen, the 7 sages of the Bamboo Grove, and you can see they're in a bamboo grove, who would rather follow their spontaneous inclinations to drink and talk and make music and transcend all worldly attachments. There's a story about one of them, Liu Ling, and I'm not sure which one Liu Ling is, that one day Liu Ling was hanging out in his house, naked, no clothes, and a friend comes to call, and Liu Ling opens the door, naked as the day he was born, and greatly offends his visitor. After all, what kind of ritual behavior, propriety is that, to greet a guest in the buff? And Liu Ling looks at him and smiles and says, the world is my house. Who invited you into my trousers? There's also a sense here for the people like this that refusing to serve in government is a way to show that you are not corrupted, that you are pure. And yet at the same time, a refusal to serve because you claim to be above it all, because you claim to be pure, makes you more attractive to government. Because a court could say, and remember we're talking about lots of splintered states and small courts at various points, dynasties that come and go. A court can look and say, but you see, these very virtuous people have been willing to accept employment from me. That shows that I have a good ruler, I have a good state, a good dynasty.